I'm going to say his name as it's saved in my phone because that's how I heard it, and I'm dyslexic. Please welcome to the show, Travis Westerman.
Hello, AJ Buckley.
What's up, buddy? Or Harry
How you
Spangler.
doing?
Harry Spangler.
AKA Harry Spangler. Yeah, man, I'm good. I'm good.
Look at your chesticles, buddy. You got pow
Uh,
pow. Look, what? Yeah.
I'm actually trying to work on that. I dislocated my shoulder like about
Jerk,
almost a year ago.
jerking off.
You're whacking it hard, man. Whacking it hard, bro. Just throw it out of my socket. They asked me, I got to the hospital and they were like,
What
I
was
just had
that
to do
like?
that, and I made up some bull crap about working out or something. But
That's
you and I both know
that's got to be horrible. I have a funny story. My wife told me when she worked at the ER that there was a guy that came in and he had something that went in his and
Okay.
they asked how long it had been in there, and he said a couple days. He just didn't want to come in. He was so nervous, and
Yeah.
he like messed it up because he was like, I was so embarrassed. I like thought if I got like a drill and like tried to drill it and then and unscrew it and then pull it in, like I could catch it and pull it out. Dude, they were like they were just staring at him,
Just
going like, "Wow, wow." And
so he put a power tool in his.
well, he put something up there, right? And then he tried to
Uh-huh.
stick. He didn't know how to get it out. Like he let go of it. He's like, "Oh God!" Right? And then he out of fear of going to the hospital, he couldn't pass it. He took all
Yeah.
these laxatives. He got a drill bit and was like, "Wah," and then like was trying to catch it and then reverse it to come back out, and that just tore it up. That
I'm
yeah,
no doctor.
yeah,
I have no medical training
yeah.
whatsoever,
I'm
but I
really
would think that you want to keep metal out of your butt.
Yeah, and I'm really hoping like Milwaukee or one of those things will be a sponsor of the show, and that's the story I'm going to lead with.
Yeah. Yeah.
But dude, it's great to see you, man. I haven't seen you in a minute.
Couple
Where in the
years.
world are you?
I am in what's called the Inland Empire. So I
Oh,
moved out of LA during the lockdowns and so forth, and
the Inland
I
Empire
kind of
sounds
got to a little more.
like something like Colin Farrell would be on an elephant, like doing Alexander the Great, like the Inland
Yeah.
Empire. Welcome to the Inland Empire.
Yeah, well, we do have camels and we do have horses and we do
Nice.
have
I filmed out in
goats.
the Inland Empire. We filmed SEAL Team out there. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
yeah,
It was
I can see
yeah.
that. Yeah,
It's
you could probably blow shit up and not get arrested.
Yeah, nice. Well, part of the show here is the Patreon, right? And
Mhm.
people of the Real Fake Seal family, they when I said that you were coming to the show, people they shit their pants. Like literally, they had a little tinkle. They got very excited, and then they shit their pants. And as I did when you were like, "Yeah," you said, "Say no more," and I just went to go say something. I felt your finger on my lips, going, "Shut your mouth." You just shut it. You shut your face. We have some questions from Patreon to kick off the show. Robin from Patreon. So I'm that hoping
Mm-hmm.
being
that's
said, handle says, how does the job vary being a main character versus to being cast in one or two episodes via Ghostfacers?
Okay. So how does the job change?
Yeah. So like, how I'm assuming she's asking what was it like for us to do Supernatural and then be Ghostfacers on our own show. That's what I'm taking from it, Robin. I'm Robin. I hope that's what you're asking. But when we
Well, I mean,
yeah, go ahead.
obviously, when we got the Ghostfacer kind of spin-off show,
Mm-hmm.
the biggest thing was that we got in a writer's room, with Chris and Patrick,
We
and
should, you know what? Let's
um,
let's 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 answer this in a long-winded. Let's walk back to the beginning of how that happened to give context.
okay, do it.
Like we show up to the set, we don't know each other,
Yeah,
right? I remember seeing you at the audition. I always say this. I remember seeing you folding your papers, like rubbing them on the desk. Remember? You're like going shh,
yeah,
shh, and I was like,
yeah,
what's that guy doing?
yeah,
Right? And you were two ahead of me, and you could kind of hear some stuff, but it was like, but I remember you from Eurotrip and other stuff, and I was a fan of your work. And then I went in and came out, and I was like, I felt like that went good, and it it was like the haunted house app. Like we were doing scenes, like there was, you know, like I remember the scene was like the big guy with the axe was coming. We had to like pretend we were scared. We're like, ah! So everyone was yelling in the audition room, like, oh my God, ah! But you had to be funny or whatever. So, and it was at the Warner Brothers. Remember, it was at Warner Brothers.
It was in the office building.
Yeah, in the office building, and then we show up to Vancouver, and we're on. I met you at was it Wardrobe? Do you remember how?
It was Wardrobe. We were just.
Do you remember the first day we locked eyes? What was the first day when we actually locked?
Of course. No, I came out of the Wardrobe kind of dressing room, and it was like slow motion. You know, I see you come in, and you see me come out, and you know you can kind of hear like the chariots of fire, like.
Oh.
And then like I looked at you, and you looked at me, and you like held out your hand to shake my hand, and it was, you know, just got this firm grip, this really firm. Manly.
I called that the bear claw.
Yeah. I felt like I was just in the arms of a papa bear at that point.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, I knew I was going to be in good hands.
No, it was crazy. I clearly remember meeting. We were like, you're hoping that, and again, we had no idea what the adventure we were about to go on. I had no idea about like our comedic timing. They never tested us. Like they never put us in the room together. And this was kind of.
They never did.
Yeah.
Yeah, no chemistry read.
No chemistry read. And then the first scene we shot was Sweet Lord of the Rings. That was the first scene.
Was it? That was the first one.
That was the first one.
It was cold as shit that
day. And the director, that English director.
We were like in knee-deep mud.
Yeah, remember the English director?
Yeah. Yeah, he was great.
And I had those goggles on, and we were just bantering back and forth. And, you know, we were pretty new in the game. Like we'd worked, but we hadn't, you know, we had our microphones on, and we were just riffing back and forth, like on blah, 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 blah. And I remember they called action, and we went out there, and like, I don't know, we were fucking having a blast. But he was like, hey, you guys know each other? And you were like, no, we just met. Just met. And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, and that was it. And then we just started banging it back and forth. And then when we realized, I think, like, there was, like, chemistry, it's like we just, like, within the scenes, we just started to make it our own in a sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it just became, like, I would say something, and you would kind of finish my sentence or vice versa, and they allowed us to sort of riff like that, which is the craziest.
The thing, too, that was just weird is, like, how quickly we sort of synced up.
Yeah.
And, you know, it was almost like by the end of just that shoot, you know, we were finishing sentences and
it was like space docking.
Pretty cool.
It was like
basically like space docking. It was like a double dock.
Yeah, like
it was like a double dock.
Yeah, we
bang and then well, bang.
Yeah,
you know?
If people were to describe what it was like meeting you for the first time in our chemistry, I was like, I'll say space docking. And for those who know what real chemistry is, it's space docking. Just gonna leave it at that. I think that belongs in a T-shirt.
Don't Google it.
Yeah, don't Google it.
Don't Google it.
Yeah, because it's Luke Skywalker, you know, and Han Solo.
Yeah,
Han Solo.
That's all you need.
Yeah. But yeah, walk me through sort of your sort of perspective of that sort of journey. Like, what was that for you when we were on set? Like, at what point were you like, oh shit, this is gonna be good?
I think honestly, it was maybe in that scene where you know, we were in our little trailer, and we had all the
WWBD
stuff.
WWBD.
Yeah, it was the WWBD. Yeah, I think
right.
When we shot that scene, I was like, this is actually going to be pretty. This is going to be pretty fun.
That's right, because we both had like the hardest thing with matching comedy is people's, if you have all the same type of comedians, it doesn't work because we had a naturally like a rhythm that was like always kind of synced up. The chain always, like the teeth on the chain and the thing always like kind of, it just flowed, and we didn't even really.
It's like a zipper.
A zipper on my pants. Wranglers. Yeehaw.
Yeehaw, buddy.
But yeah, and then when we left, it was like all right, well, that was fun because it was only really one episode, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I guess we just sort of figured like one and done.
Yeah, usually the
That was
case.
that was fun.
And then when you
Adios muchachos.
and,
Oh,
and
and
go ahead.
when we got back, actually, you started on CSI New York, right? Like you had just done a like I still remember hanging out in your room and your
Oh,
episode of CSI New York that
that's
you
right.
guested on
Yeah.
aired while you were working on that show.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, and I was just guest starring at the time. I hadn't gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. That is so long ago. Yeah, I totally remember that. Wow, that is bananas. And then we went back to our, LA, and we chat, we keep in touch, we were chatting away, and then it was like a couple months later we get a call again.
A year or two.
Was it? Oh, was it the next season?
No, it was. It was season 3, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, and we were on season 1, and then we got brought back for season 3.
Was it really that much of a? Wow. See, it's so weird how just time just sort of like bloops together, and you're like, yeah. But then I remember reading what was it called, that episode, Morton House? No.
The first episode was called Hell
House. Yeah.
Hell House was the first one.
And what was the second one?
Then it was Ghostfacers.
Ghostfacers. That's right. It was, yeah. What Morton House was where we went into. What was the Morton House? Or am I just thinking Tim Hortons? I don't know. The Tim Hortons donuts.
I think you're thinking Tim Hortons.
Dunkin' Donuts. Yeah. Do you know there's a fucking Tim Hortons here in Nashville? I was driving here to the studio and I was like, what in the hell? And I asked the guy.
That's crazy.
I asked the Uber guy, I'm like, Tim Hortons, and when did that come here? He didn't speak much English, so he was like, I don't know. I was like, all right. I'm like, listen, that right there is like every, dad that takes their son to hockey at 4 a.m. for rink time. That's the bonding moment that like they have with other dads. But like, we're really doing it, Harry. We're really doing it. Like you're just in a Tim Hortons eating the little Timbits. Remember the Timbits? You remember? Did you ever?
Timbits, buddy. I didn't grow up in Canada.
But when we shot the fucking show in Canada, bro.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So I remember the bits. Yeah.
They were good. You put a little Timbit in your mouth. That's what I always would say to you. Put my Timbits right in your mouth.
I've just kind of opened.
Get that glaze on your lips. Put that glaze on your lips there, Westerman.
You would take the Timbit and just kind of.
Yeah. But and then when Ghostfacers happened, I mean, that was, again, I want to hear from your perspective of like you showing up and then we meet everybody, right? Like we go to that restaurant.
Yeah. Well, so you weren't there the first night. So I don't remember what you were up to. You were flying in from something. You were shooting something, working on something.
I was doing something really important.
Pretty big deal. So I remember I hadn't read the script. I just got the call from my agent or whatever being like, hey, they're bringing you back. I was like, fantastic. I figured it would just be another, show up and do a couple of, do a couple scenes, have some fun, move on. I get on the plane and I see Brittany Ishibashi.
Mm-hmm.
And
did you know Brittany before?
Got married. Yeah, so we had worked on a movie like maybe about a year prior.
I love her.
So yeah, she was great. So I saw her and I'm like, hey, Brittany, what's going on? Good to see you. Blah blah blah. I mean, we're getting on the plane together. Mm-hmm. And I go, so are you going up to Vancouver to work on something? She looked at me. She goes, yeah. And I said, wow, cool. What show? She said, Supernatural. And I said, me too. That's amazing. That's great. Congratulations. All right. And she looks at me. She goes, you haven't read the script. I said, no. And so anyway, so now my interest is piqued. I get on the plane, sit down, plane takes off, start reading the script, and Brittany's sitting like a few rows behind me, and I start reading this thing, and the first page, was just sort of like that hard, that cold open teaser, mm-hmm. where, it's, you and I sitting by the fire with our brandy or whatever.
Man.
And then it gets, and I'm like, well, this is interesting. And then it gets into the next page, and it's like Ghostfacers. And at that point, I realized, like, oh, like I realized like how big a deal this was. Like
Oh yeah.
we were taking over the show.
Yeah.
And then I turn around and I look, I turn around and I look back and I lean out my aisle and I
Yeah.
look at Brittany, and Brittany like leans out her aisle and she goes, I know. And
It's so,
yeah,
dude,
so that was
it's literally to this day, because I had the same sort of thing. I read it like I skimmed it through a couple things, but like I just was like, okay, because usually like what page do my character start on, and like where you just to start getting on your lines, and I'm like, oh, I'm on the first page, and then you're like, oh, second page, you're like, oh shit, and then you're like third, you're like, oh my god, I got work to do. Like, oh, and it's like every single page, I'm like, what? Because usually it's not that at all. It's not even that. You're not in the cold open. You're not like Jared and Jensen were in like 3 pages. Yeah.
yeah. Usually when you're guest starring
Yeah.
on something, you got like 3-4 scenes maybe.
Yeah.
And maybe one of the scenes has got a lot of dialogue in it. You really got to shop that out. You got to work on that. But
usually the third scene, you're
probably,
crying or something. You're upset. You're like, I didn't do it.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah,
it. It wasn't me. It was the one-armed man.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So, but like that's usually
you're just getting grilled by cops or something.
Yeah.
But this thing was just like, it was like every page, because like usually I go through and I mark up my script and I get my lines and everything else, and yeah, it was just like every page, like, oh geez, I should have read this, I should have prepared better. Oh no. And but what was awesome is that Phil Sgriccia, the director of that episode, he kind of asked us to kind of hang out or whatever, and he gave us a sheet of questions that he might ask us at some point. Sorry, I'll stop trying to pound on the table. He handed us a sheet of questions that he was going to maybe ask us at some point. And so that night when we got in, Brittany and Austin Basis and myself, I think we got together and just started asking each other these questions. And I think in that, kind of doing that really helped build up the relationship and the chemistry. And it also really helped solidify who these characters were, because, we had, we kind of knew who our characters were, but obviously this was a totally new deal. And so, we had to build out exactly, who these people were and what everyone's relationship was. And, kind of doing that sort of improv work beforehand really helped. And I think like the rats are like the Harry being scared of rats.
Yeah.
It came out of that. It came out of that. It was like, what's your greatest fear?
Yeah.
So yeah.
I mean, Phil really had, and because when I came, I remember I met everybody at the restaurant. I remember you had called me and you're like, dude, this is gonna be fun. You're like, the cast, everyone's awesome. Everyone's like, because I remember you told me, like, there's like the improv thing, and you guys met to get all the questions. And I hadn't got the questions. He's like, Phil's gonna give you questions. It's gonna be fun. Everybody's really going, oh, this is cool. And then remember we're at the Sutton place. We walked around to that restaurant right around the corner. We all sat at, he had the upstairs room, and we sat there. I was like, wow, this is cool. And Phil, he just kept smiling when we would start. We all would go, but all of us clicked out of the gates. Like it was, you can't, again, most of these times that you put a cast together, you've met them before or something, but they like from Dustin, to Austin to everybody, we all met some way, and comedically it all made sense. And the script was like flawless. Like it was Ben Englund that read it, right? Yeah. And it was just like, and it was right at the height of those reality type of ghost shows, but like our voices, just the beats, like everything. For us to be on Ghostfacers, or the first one, and then our first episode, to sort of take that to it becoming, to write the Ghostfacer episode, like to the song, everything is fucking genius. But I remember like when we were just messing around, and like there was that moment I was like, this is like Phil fucking he was literally in tears. He like, I was like, dude, are you okay? He was like crying. The crew was crying. Like, was just as like, and then, I mean, walk us through the sort of process for you of like, where, and then, so this will kind of answer Robin's question, I guess, the long-winded answer. It's like, for when we were on Supernatural, right, just with Jared and Jensen, we did what we did. We would show up, we'd have a couple scenes, and then we came to Ghostfacers, and It was our show. Like we were,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. Well, I think that the level of authorship we were granted on that particular episode is pretty rare, right? Like
yeah,
especially as guests.
yeah.
You don't ever show up and you're allowed to just sort of, improv and have
No,
fun, and just kind of like play around with everything, so that was a very unique experience, and it was incredible.
I think too it was like what allowed it because we were rolling so many cameras at once, and it was all capturing. Phil was just like, I remember we were like, this is like doing a play because they'd have 8-9 pages scheduled, which on most sets that's a full day, and we'd do 4 pages in one take because we'd go from room to room to room, and they only realized that at the moment that it was like, remember they're like, oh shit, and with Austin who held the camera. Like even the camera department was told they were playing hockey outside. They're like, all right, cool. They just the crew left. It was like they're like, you guys feels like we don't like they're gonna film everything. Like I think we had like 15 or 16 cameras rolling at one point. We'd walk through and then Phil planted all those little things along the way with the rat and with the spider webs, and he had surprises that he'd wanted to see. He's like, just stay in it. Whatever you do, just stay in it. And I always remember watching the monitor. It was your take. And he opened the door and there's a fucking rat there, and you're like, ah! And you just ran down because it was a fucking set. So like it ran, and it was like they all were chasing you, and like it was just like. Like you couldn't.
And I think I had a camera. I think I might have had a camera on my head.
Yeah.
And then you cut to the shot of me like it's all jangling around, and I'm running down the hallway.
Yeah, man, it was like.
Yeah, I think one day we got finished by lunch.
And then Jared.
Like I went up to Phil at lunch, and I'm like, "No, what's next?" And he's like.
Yeah, he's like he even tried to fill. He's like, "You want to shoot some more?" I mean, we were having so much fun. Like I didn't want it to end. I'm like, "This is like if this is like we're getting paid to do this." Like it just there was nothing like when you look back, like it was just like, "Holy shit!" Like is this work? Is this like I'm not even nervous. Like it's not like we just played like there was never and Dustin was so freaking funny as Corbin. Corbett. I kept calling Corbett, and Corbett, and like and then but I remember like after like the first day we went back and like Phil had called and was just like, it was like the second day. He was like, because he said the dailies. He's like, guys, the dailies are just like everyone's freaking out about this, and we were like, then we instantly started thinking like, man, what if the what ifs like what because nothing ever like this. The magic that happened on there, and Phil was such a champion on that. I was like, man, the what if this was, and then that whole week was just like, it was like 10 days where we were up there. It was like one of the best. And then Jared and Jensen, remember they showed up and they were like, they'd worked 1 or 2 days. They're like, this, you guys can come any fucking time.
Yeah. They were stoked.
Yeah, like Jared and Jensen were like, all right, cool. They came in. Like remember when they showed up and they're such big dudes, especially Jared,
Yeah.
They tower over us, and both Jared and Jensen were just like, tell them the story about the Friday night with when Jared locked eyes with me and wanted to eat me.
Oh man, yeah, like so late night. It's Friday night, and I don't remember what was going on beforehand. It was a scene where they just had to get in a car and drive away. I think that was the scene we were doing.
They had to. Well, they didn't have to drive. They had to pretend to drive.
Right.
Yeah. They had to pretend.
And for whatever reason, Jared was just feeling it, and he was having a moment or something.
Yeah.
And he locked eyes. I remember he locked eyes with you, and you're like, Jared.
Yeah.
Jared, what are you doing, buddy? Yeah. What are you doing, buddy? And he goes, "Come here."
This is when he was like jet. He was this.
This he was like
because he was training for like Hercules, or he was up for Hercules or something like that. And I was like, Conan, or I said when he said, "Yeah, I'm training for Conan," I'm like, "Can't see it, buddy." No chance you're getting that job.
So he decides this would be a great time to run over to you.
Yeah.
And he grabs you and he just starts like carrying you around like a little tiny baby, I believe.
Yeah, he coiled me.
I believe he started sucking your thumb.
Yeah, I tried to suck on his nipple and he wouldn't let me. I was like, "Mama."
Yeah. So he's swinging you around. The whole crew is like Jared, please put down the actor.
Yeah.
And with his big, I still remember his big booming laugh.
Yeah.
And he's just like, ha, 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 ha.
Yeah.
And he's like swinging you around.
Yeah. I was like,
yeah.
hey, buddy, put me down. And the more people were like, hey, Jared, give him back. Give him back. He was like, no, he's mine. Yeah. It was just such a, like, literally, that was one of the, it was such a crazy, and then, like, at the end, did you feel like at the end of that episode, like when we filmed there, like what point were you like, oh, we've got this is going to turn into something?
Yeah, I mean, about halfway through, I mean, honestly, because like you said, we were watching the dailies and everything, and we were just like, I mean, it was almost kind of like a drug, right? We were just kind of like, we can't let this go.
Yeah.
We can't just, it was weird. It was like, we can't just go back to LA and pretend none of this happened.
Yeah.
We got to figure something out.
Yeah.
And, that's when
we were like, it was like me and you were like that movie Before Sunrise with Ethan Hawke and that girl. We were like,
yes.
We were just like, we just can't pretend this didn't happen. It's like, I didn't meet you to just get off this train, Do you know what movie I'm referencing?
Yeah, the Before Sunrise, and then there was a really bad sequel after that. But,
it was called Before Sunset.
Hawk,
Before Sunset was the sequel. It was terrible.
And then we got back, and I remember the first thing we did after we got back is we went to Comic-Con. I think that was like the first time.
Well, no. Let's walk up back to where we got the call. We thought we were in trouble.
No. This is before that call. This is before that call.
Was it?
So I'll walk you through it.
Right. Yeah.
So basically, what happened is we got back to LA, and we got invited to hit up the Supernatural panel at Comic-Con.
No. Because remember, they pitched us the Comic-Con in the room when we went in there. Like, we want to announce it. We want to bring you guys. Remember, they're like, let's bring him down to Comic-Con. Remember that when we went in that room with Kripke?
Yeah, we sat down. Oh, I definitely remember that meeting because we sat down, and I thought we were about to get like a cease and desist order.
Yeah, I was like,
because we had been running around.
I'm like, he did it. It was his fault.
Because we had been doing like little bits,
that's like, right. Because Phil, who's obviously Uncle Phil, like kept calling. He's like, dude, you guys want to? He was like, you guys want to come over and like shoot some video? I'm like, yeah.
And so we had been just kind of, it was almost like kind of doing a proof of concept. Sort of. And we had been just kind of doing some stuff in character, putting it out. This is almost kind of like when YouTube was even just first starting.
Yeah.
So this was like the dawn of the video on the internet. Mm-hmm. And, we had been kind of sharing some stuff around, and we got that call, hey, they want to talk to you at corporate.
Yeah.
And, so we go to this meeting, and I remember, like, I think we went to the bathroom together because that's what we do.
Yeah.
And
Star Wars.
After I zipped you up, you zipped me up.
Yeah.
We looked at each other. We were like, "What in the hell's going on?" And
I'm like, "You got."
we were just like,
I'm like, "You got a little bit. I'm stuck." And then you unzipped, and then I wiped the tears.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, I'm stuck. Yeah.
I still am sorry about that.
Yeah, it's okay. It's all right.
I've been practicing. If you ever want to get back to it,
it happens. Yeah, got to roll it up.
Do some shit.
Yeah.
So we zipped up. We go into the room. We sit down. There's Kripke, and there's like some of the.
There's like 6 or 7 people in there.
Heads.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was intimidating. I thought we were just going to be meeting with Kripke and just kind of sitting down in the office.
Yeah.
No, we're in like a conference room.
Yeah.
Not just like a conference room with a table. We're in like one of those conference rooms where they do like table reads and stuff where there's
microphones,
a horseshoe of tables. Yeah. And so we're sitting there and then that's when they told us we're thinking about trying to do something with you guys. Maybe we're not sure if it's we're not sure what it's going to look like.
And Travis, let's
take you down to Comic-Con.
This doesn't happen to guys like me and you. Like where they're like, so we're thinking about like we don't got the jaw lines. We don't we're like fucking, we're like the antithesis of Jared and Jensen. They're not like, we want to build a show around you guys. You guys bring in the viewers, the ladies. It's like, we're not those guys. And I was looking at Travis. I'm like, Travis, I'm like, is this real? I was like looking at I was like, oh my God. And then once I realized I wasn't in trouble and they were saying this, I was like, oh my God. And they're like, yeah, we don't know. We pair you up with some writers, but we want you guys to write it. We were thinking about, you guys, and we'll work with Phil. And we're like, yeah. And then they said, we want you to crash the panel at Comic-Con. And what was so cool, though, I really have to give to Jared and Jensen, there's so many actors out there that would get wind of this and be like, nah, that's not happening. These guys are coming to our show and they're like, no. Like, and they would kibosh. Those guys could not have been more supportive of what we were doing. They loved it. They were so, they just got behind it. And when we saw them at Comic-Con and they were like, we were like, and we sort of like had a rough improv thing of what we were going to do. That went out the fucking window. We got on there and it was just like, it was like Jared just turned into the Hulk again. He was like, rah. But that was such a cool moment because I remember saying to you, I'm like, I hope the crowd like knows who we are. Right?
Yeah.
And like, they were talking, I'll have them cut it into this clip here. No joke. First time I did the podcast here and I asked him to pull something. I was like, that's so cool. We can pull up something and we can, I was like, yes. It's like just like Joe Rogan. He's like, Jamie, can you pull up for me?
Yeah, pull that shit up.
Yeah. He has like where we crash. Yeah, this is it.
We started this thing, GMA.
Ghost martial arts.
Yeah. We sweep, kick, and ground and pound. Like that, just like that. Watch out, see if I was ghost.
It's all white belt.
Yeah, pretty much. But other than that, yeah. So how you guys been? You all right?
We're busy working on the show, man.
What not?
This show. Oh shit, my phone's blowing up.
Wait, hang on. I got it.
Go for Harry? Yeah, sorry. We have a...
Go for Harry. Yep.
We have a spike.
We got a Spectre in the South Tower.
Spectre.
We got a Spectre in the South Tower. We gotta go face some ghosts. Hey, if you guys want to get back on TV, you let us know.
It was so good. It was so fun.
I think that's the first time GMA came into it.
Yeah, because we came up with the GMA thing over at Phil's house, and we're trying to figure out how to sweep kick a ghost that has no legs.
Yeah.
A swoosh kick, we call it a swoosh kick. Ghost martial arts, GMA. Which is like, then when I put that blanket over your head, and I would smack you in the head.
Yeah, you kept it.
I was trying not to laugh, and because I was like, you were like going ooh, and I was like, I hit you once, you're like, ow. I'm like, oh, this is funny because you couldn't see me hit. I was like, bam, bam. It was like that was the best. Oh man, it was so fun. And then
so fun.
Then what happened after that? Then it was like.
So then we did the bit with Misha.
Jesus Christ!
No, I'm Castiel.
Yeah.
When you flew Misha down, we did the little vignette kind of thing. I remember I think we got the whole squad together.
Yeah. And during that time we were writing with Patrick Duty and those guys. We were writing because remember they came by to visit it. Yeah, they came by. Remember? Yeah. And we were over at McGee's office. And it was just the craziest. Like I look back, I'm like last night when I was, because I knew you were coming on. I was just going through. I was like, man, it's amazing what stores in your brain you remember. You're like, man, that was so crazy fun. It was just such a. And I always look back to it's like what they wanted to do was 5 years early. Like it didn't exist because they wanted us to write 10 episodes that were 3 minutes each, which was basically three pages, because each page is roughly a minute, like a beginning, middle, and end, and an out. But then when you stuck it all together, it played kind of as an episode.
As a whole story.
It was such a mind thing. I mean, it was so much fun doing it. And it was like, I was just, man, like I really was just going through it. Like, man, what a crazy thing. And then, the UK Facers were formed. And speaking of which, there was another question on here from Patreon from one of the diehard, the OGs, Claire Hemsworth from Patreon. Claire, I know. Yeah, I did a live Patreon. Claire. I did a live Patreon and I couldn't figure out how to work the tech side of things. Surprise, surprise, I still can. I'm surprised I even was able to turn on my phone today. And I couldn't figure out how to see anything. And all of a sudden, it showed somebody something. I was like, "Whoa, is that Claire?" Yeah, it was good to see her. So Claire from Patreon says, "Can we do a reunion of the UK Facers in person or on a Zoom?" Travis, yes.
100%.
Let's do it. I think we should do it in the
Absolutely.
UK. Let's do a UK Facer reunion, right?
We're going back to York. Remember that?
York.
With the ooze.
With the ooze. You fell in the
ooze.
ooze. Tell that story, Travis.
We were we were doing I can't talking to you right now, I can't believe how much of this stuff we did. I mean, we did so much extracurricular ghost facing. We just shot so much content. And at a time too where YouTube wasn't a thing.
Oh yeah.
Really, like there was nowhere for this stuff to really. You couldn't really put it online. We didn't have streaming video back then. This would have been about 2010 or so. We didn't have streaming video like we have it now, where you shoot something and boom, you put it right on the internet. That just didn't really exist. So, we were shooting all this stuff, and I don't know what we really thought we were going to do with it, other than use it as proof of concept to show.
Well, we wanted to. What we said was, because it was the first time that we'd ever got in. Like, we'd been invited to supernatural conventions, but this was a strictly a ghost facer convention. It was called UK Facer, and we show. So we were like, okay, let's do something special for them. We will shoot an actual episode, but we'll use us being there as if we were there for a ghost facer convention, as if we really got a real apparition. So we wrote it all around that Misha came to visit. Castiel came and visited us, and we wanted to show it to these other ghost hunters.
That's right.
Right. And we incorporated all of them. And then we just ran around at night with no permits or anything, with cameras in character, all of us.
In character the whole time.
Yeah. And we'd written kind of like a loose outline of what we're doing, and we're running down streets and we had, remember, my buddy Perry came. Perry came and it was the shit that we pulled off. Like, as I was thinking last time, like, we didn't know what we didn't know, but we were like, fuck it, we're doing this. Like, we were just like, we got off the plane and we're like, start filming. We just filmed everything that we were doing. And like, I think in nowadays, if
we filmed ourselves on the train.
Yeah.
Like, we were on the train.
And we did the ghost apparition thing with Dustin there, where he was there, and they're like, what was that? Because we were playing that he was still with us,
Yeah, that's right. And then, and so, like, I actually, now that you said that, I remember this bit that we did where, he was sitting, like, there was a shot of the window.
Yeah.
And there was the reflection in the window, and he was sitting right there. And then we kind of like did like a, like an old school, like very old school movie trick where, we pan back and he's gone.
Yeah.
And then pan over the window and there he is.
And there's all these other people on the train that have no idea what we're doing. And they just keep looking at us. They're like, what in the hell? Because Dustin was there, and then he'd have to like dive under the table, and then you'd be there and be like, what was that? And I'm like, what was that? What was that? And we'd have to wait and we didn't know when the tunnels were coming up, because we could only do it when the tunnel was there, because it was black, remember? So, sometimes the tunnels would be like 2 seconds, we're like, go, and then it was no. And it'd go, and we'd be set, and then, remember, so it was like only when we'd go through a tunnel, we didn't know what was coming, so we were waiting. And of course, you and I are having cocktails, so we're getting a little tipsy. We're like, bro, we're tunnel. It's like,
Big shepherd's paw. I'm eating my big shepherd's paw. I'm eating my big shepherd's paw.
That's what you kept saying, big shepherd's paw. Oh my gosh. And then we, and then we got him. We just literally shot, I've got to find where that is. That's uploaded somewhere. I'm going to repost that on the YouTube channel for everybody to rewatch.
I hope you do. I mean, it was a lot of work too. I mean, we both put in a lot of work on that. Well, the thing I specifically remember, I mean, obviously, like the most, most vivid memory I have is we were running around York. I don't remember what time of night it was, but it was dark. It was cold. Yeah, it was dark and cold. It was cold and dark.
Yeah,
and so we're running around, just trying to shoot whatever we could think of shooting, and I decide. What would be a great idea is if I just took off running as though there was a ghost and I'm running from the ghost. Just so we have it, just some B-roll, whatever. Just so we have something to cut to if we need it.
Yeah.
So boom, I start running. And, you know, everyone kind of stayed in character, but they were like, you know, Harry, where are you going?
Yeah.
With a genuine concern. Like, not, you know, there was no acting. It was just, you know, people were calling me Harry, but like, I think even Perry was yelling after me.
Yeah.
And he's not a character on the thing, but he's still, you know, he's off camera yelling. But I'm running. Yeah. I'm just taking off into the darkness.
Yeah.
And
it was and like it's very dark, very like 14th century feel, you know, modern 14th century.
Yeah, very goth. Like everything's made of stone.
Yeah, everything.
That's another thing. Yeah. Everything's made of stone.
It's a very real set. It's a very real set we rented.
It was like everything was basically built by Romans or something. Yeah. It was very. And we, you know, so I take off running. It had been raining, and the stone steps leading down to the river, which is called the Ooze. True story. Coolest name for a river ever. Mm-hmm. And anyway, I guess in England they don't believe in, like, I don't know, guardrails or banisters
or a warning sign
or anything of that nature.
Like, if they had a warning sign of like you will die, like at least we could have got for a bang for a buck, like started on you running and then panned up to like you will die if you go down these stairs and then panned back to you in the ooze. There was none of that. It was just darkness.
It was like a little stick figure man drowning.
Yeah.
Hell, like a little stick figure man going, ah!
And then there's supposed to be like a life preserve there. You're supposed to throw to somebody, but it's not there. You know.
Yeah, it's just it's been thrown. It was thrown in the 1200s.
Yeah.
But so anyway, so for whatever reason, I thought it might make a cool kind of scene, a cool little shot. Mm-hmm. For me to run to the edge of the water and then just be looking down into the water. Don't know. I just thought, it'd be kind of a cool thing to cut to. That didn't happen because what actually happened is that when I tried to come to a full and complete stop, the rocks were wet. My shoes were not very grippy, and they just slipped right out from under me.
It was about 15 steps. I still remember. Yeah, it was about 15 steps, and you decided to stop. You decided to stop at like step 6, and you slid down like 8 or 9. I remember seeing you go. And we were like, whoa.
And I wasn't even tumbling or anything. No. It's just my feet just went whoop, and I just kind of was going down the steps like that. And and then I went into the ooze about I would say nipple deep.
Yeah.
Nipple deep.
And we couldn't see the water. We just hear this like. And you're like, whoa.
Yeah.
But we all stayed in character.
Actually we did. Yeah. I would actually like to see that. I don't know if you still have any.
I do have that. Yeah. It's so funny because you come up, you're so mad, and I can't stop laughing.
My face is I'm just like.
Because it's so cold. It's like 3:00 in the morning. It's so cold. I remember it started like flurrying of snow, and I was laughing, and I was like, Harry, are you okay? And you're like, I'm soaking wet. He like totally like walked off, and then the camera pans to Maggie, and she was like, and then it was just like a perfect dude. It was like we didn't break character. It was such a great thing. And then that was oh man, that was so fun. So did we answer Claire's question there? Did we answer her question?
You said
Facers.
Her question was let's do for sure. Okay.
And then I've got one more Patreon question here. Michelle Mitchell from Patreon asks, when are you and AJ going to do a meet and greet? And we need more Ghostfacer episodes. Yeah, we do. Well, look, Travis.
Yeah.
Do you know what the crazy thing is? We are the longest living characters on Supernatural. You know?
Yeah.
We
still kicking.
We are the only characters
in the world of Supernatural. We're out there somewhere.
We are the only characters that did not die. You know? And it sucks. Like, I do want to talk about, because the way that it ended, it had such a weird ending for both of us, you know. And there was a lot of lost in translation of things that were happening behind the scenes, and it guts me because it was such a highlight of both our careers, and then things that sort of out of our control. Sort of they push baby in the corner because we weren't really included in anything towards the end. We just were sort of like blacklist. We were the redhead stepchild. The nerds got kicked out. So, and it was
Yeah.
like, we were told we were coming back up, and they were mirroring an episode of Jared and Jensen, just flipping characters or going a separate way. And originally Phil was going to be directing it, who really understood our things. And at that time, you and I had still been making content and stuff, so we were kind of in our rhythm of what it was. And Kripke had left, and there was a new showrunner. And I don't know the whole of it. We just got the feeling that Ghostfacers wasn't really their jam. And every showrunner has their sort of rules and things, and as an actor, you abide by them, and you're like, okay, cool, what is? But we were just so used to improvising and doing our thing. We just, and when we were with Phil was like, yeah, go do, whatever it was. That being said, and I had just come from the reason Phil couldn't direct is because my wife was pregnant and we had to push. And then my dad had just passed away. My wife just had the baby, and they were basically like, after, like, my daughter was born, and they were like, you need to get on a plane, like, right now. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of heightened emotions that we're doing. And we show up, and it was just like, I was like, the one time of like doing comedy where I just was I wasn't in this headspace. It was just like, there was so much emotionally going on. And this director, I'm sure he meant well. What was his name again? Like Jean-Michel or something like that? Or
Jean-Michel, yeah.
And he just was this guy that, him and I just, and it's the only time this has ever happened in my career. Him and I, out of the gates, he comes in, and I have this tattoo in Hebrew on my arm that I got right after my dad passed away, because my dad asked me to bring his ashes to the Rock of Calvary and pour them out there. And I said, of course, that was something very special. I got this tattoo in Israel. And he literally he's like, what is your tattoo? What is it? Do you have Hebrew? Are you Jewish? I'm like, no, I'm Jewish, I'm Christian. He's like, oh, I go, it says, I lay my father to rest on the Rock of Calvary. And he looks at me stone cold and goes, it doesn't say that. I go, what? He goes, it doesn't say that. And I was like, no, my dad just died. And he just kept saying, yeah, it doesn't, it doesn't say. And I was like, bro, what the fuck are you? I'm like, who are you, dude? And I got like fucking heated with him. I'm like, don't fucking tell me. Like,
Yeah.
I know. And it got tense with us in the room. And I was like, not in the space but again, you don't tell somebody that just tells you their dad died, they got a tattoo that does not did.
Yeah, totally wrong.
Yeah.
Totally wrong.
He's like,
What
it
that
doesn't say
means.
that. I'm sorry, your friend did give you the wrong information. I was like, okay. And I just was like, remember you saw me in the room after? And I got like emotional.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
like, got all choked up. I was like very like, and I was like, motherfucker, like, why would he say that to me? And I had to call like my brother-in-law and like, be like, dude, is this real? He's like, yeah, that guy. He's like, I didn't know what he was talking about. So right away, I was like, what a dick. And then it just escalated. Him and I just did not get like, and then we had some.
You didn't sync up at all.
And then we had some ideas that we wanted to sort of throw around with. We'd always do with Phil. And again, as an actor, you adjust and do it. In hindsight, I should have just followed in suit and did that, but it wasn't in the headspace. And I remember you and I were walking on, and I pitched him this one idea of this thing, and he was like, nah, that is terrible, just do it. Oh, he goes, I knew, they said you might be, and he just like starts tearing into me. I'm like, dude, what is your problem, man? Like, do you have an issue? And him and I just like, on the set, remember before we started filming, got into it. I'm like, what the? And it was like this, and that has never happened in my career. Like, and the Vancouver, like we were so happy to see each other. And all of a sudden, before we even rolled tape, we got into this like thing. And this guy just had my number. He just, anytime I did a take, he would say over the thing, that was terrible. Can we do it again? He's like, ugh, God, what is this? He just wouldn't leave me alone. And I was not in the headspace. And then my wife was going through her stuff like right after the baby. And like, it was just like, I remember sitting in your room. I was like, I was checked out. And it was just such a bad experience for it to end the way that it did. And I feel like some of my combativeness, which again, I haven't had that before with a director, it sort of spoiled, I think, some of the stuff later on. But, I think in Phil's hands, I don't think this would have happened. I think, it was just an odd
No,
guy.
100%.
And he never actually, I asked him, I'm like, did you ever see, he never watched a Ghostfacer episode. He didn't know our characters. You remember
Didn't know the characters, didn't know any of the material.
he was
what our
like, he's like,
background
what is
was.
this? He goes, who? He's like, you guys are. I'm like, no, there's a whole. So he had no clue of the backstory. And the girl that wrote it was the sweetest girl. She was so excited. She was like, you're my favorite character. She gave us a nice gift.
Yeah, she was
And
awesome.
I look back at that and I'm like, what a shitty way to end our amazing run.
Like one of the coolest jobs.
Yeah, and
One of
I
the
always
coolest
like,
jobs
and
I've
then
ever had as an actor.
and then the guy I found out later, like he doubled down in the editing room, just talking. Remember, I was like, and then Phil called me. He's like, dude, what happened? And I explained. I'm like, dude, I apologize. Like, I would have never, but this guy had my number, man. I don't know what he just, after the tattoo thing, it's like, we just could not, we couldn't get through it. So it sucks. It really does. It does eat me up inside. I'm like, man, it's that one thing. I'm like, God damn it. I wish like the circumstances were different, but you deal with the card you're dealt with, and in hindsight, maybe, but I just don't know how you even deal with that type of person regardless. I mean, how do you take the higher road? But everything was, and it was a new showrunner. We never really met the showrunner and all that sort of stuff. But, I wish if there was one thing I could do over, would be that episode, like how the whole time was for you too, right? Because we were just like, both. We just felt
well,
off.
I mean, I don't know if you remember, but I had to like give an apology to the entire set.
Oh yeah.
For a joke I made during a rehearsal. So
Oh yeah.
I didn't have a great time either.
Oh, that's right. It was like
like I just made like a bad joke where it's like, I don't even remember what it was about, but it was like bad. And, and it's like right when I said it, I'm like, okay, that was too far. So obviously we're going to pull it back.
But
but
our issue was, and again, I'm not making excuses for us. We'd gotten so used to just improvising on our own, making our own content, that we were just our like we had to make a conscious choice. Oh, we're filming the TV show part, and our jokes have to be pulled, like the gratuitous of it, or like how vulgar we were that we thought was funny might not be appropriate for the set right now. And it was just a beat. And again, we'd been working with Phil for so long, and he knew us better than anybody. He knew how to like rein us in. And because this guy didn't understand who we were, what we were, any of that stuff, and he just was this grumpy French guy. Like he directed Jaws or some shit, and I was like, I don't give a fuck who he guy's a dick. And I remember a couple crew members came up like, this guy's like,
it was Jaws 3, by the way.
What's that? Or Jaws 3, whatever. Yeah. So
it's like Jaws 3.
That nobody saw. And so I remember what couple of crew people were like, dude, this guy's on you, huh? And I was like, yeah, man. I'm like, and they're like, they pointed out, they're like, dude, I don't know. He just wanted to like, it was the weirdest thing. But I'm glad, like we've never really talked about it ever. Because people always like, how come you guys weren't in the finale? How come? And I'm like, and in my mind, I'm always like, I think it's because that ended so badly, like that. And then he continued to just trash us to whomever else. So, and now it's so far gone and stuff like that. It's like, I'm like, I got to get this off my chest.
I got the feeling of what happened was that he had been told probably by the producers, hey, listen, these guys, they've been, living with these characters, they've been working these characters, but what we want is what's on the page.
Yeah.
So your job as a director is to keep them in line and keep them focused on the material that we wrote and the words we want them to say, and not let them just run around.
And if he had to communicate that in a better way, 100%, we would have, we would have been like, yeah, totally. And it was actually hard for us to adjust because they wrote us switching places. Like you were the front man, and then I was like, and that was hard for us to find that rhythm. It really was like, because we kept going like, well, I would like, and we just like, remember us were trying to get the beat, and then we kept falling back into our comedy thing, and it was a really tough sort of thing to do, but there was no sort of parameters. And again, I take full responsibility for that thing, but it was just like between my dad dying, my wife, I held her for literally an hour, and then I was on a plane. It was like, it was my first year.
You kissed your new baby, and then boom.
And then I land, and this guy's like, that tattoo is wrong. I was like, what? I was like, bro, this is, and that's, it was just, it was wrong.
It's not a good 48 hours.
I do. That's, if there was one thing I wish I could change, if the time machine ever happens, if this quantum thing where they now they can go back in time a second, if they can go back in time, I would say Ghostfacers. you know.
10 years, yeah.
But it was like such a special time in our lives. And look, dude, we're still alive, you know. And people always ask, like, is anything going to happen with the Ghostfacers? Is anything? And I'm like, you know, I'm still, you know, I would jump at the opportunity, wouldn't you?
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, without even thinking about it.
Yeah, it's like
without even thinking about it. I mean, you know.
Yeah, it's if you would you say like Ed Zedmore and Sonny Quinn are my two favorite characters, and Ed Zedmore for the comedy. 'Cause I haven't been with SEAL Team. I haven't been able to do comedy in so long, and that's like that type of comedy. And you know, you're my brother from another mother. Just doing that comedy, it's just like we laugh our balls off. It's just so much fun, you know. And everybody outside of that one experience, you know, like all the other like cast and stuff are just phenomenal. That one dude was just, you know, a dick. So I wish him well wherever he is. I wish you well, buddy. Yeah. I'll send you a Christmas card this year that says "Eat a bag of dicks." No, he's a sweet guy. But yeah, dude. So, man, I can't thank you enough for popping on and I, dude, please, I feel like we should try and revive somehow. Let's throw it out to the fans out there. You know, when they watch this, you know, that we existed, wouldn't you agree, because of the fans?
Oh, 100%. Like, I don't know if you remember that first convention that we did in the UK. It was after we worked on the Ghostfacers, but it was before the episode aired. Mm-hmm. And even then, everyone was just super into it.
Yeah, and we should get the band back together, right? Should we get the band back together? Yeah, we should get the band back together. Cue the music.
I'm down.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I will call it Ghost Recon. I don't think that title's been taken.
No, it's not taken. No, that's out there.
I feel like if I go to GoDaddy right now, Ghost Recon, we get it. So
absolutely.
Well, yeah, Travis, I can't thank you enough for coming by and popping in. And I love you with all my heart. It's great to see you. You're a dear friend. And let's get the band back together, man. You know, you got to go be gay for your per dead intern.
Ed, you got to go be gay for that poor dead intern. You got to send him into the light.
Best line of the show.
Best line of the show.
Yeah, for sure. All right, brother. I love you, man. We'll do some sort of Zoom or thing. I'll try to get more of the Facers together, and we'll do another one of these podcasts.
Let me know, man. You know, at any time, if you tell me you're going to start a revolution, I'm throwing the first breath.
All right, I love you, buddy. I'll talk to you soon.